Welcome back to the League of Hustlers. Today we're going to be talking about the LA wildfires, the Asheville floods, like all of this stuff that's going on. And the one thing that I don't is think is being talked about enough. It's one thing that's not being talked about enough that we really need to start talking about. Right? Let's get it. I'm your co-host HT,
I'm CD Barnes.
and this is the League of Hustlers, where we help you prepare to prosper. All right, jumping right into it. The one thing people are not talking about, all right, is preparation, being prepared. Okay. No one wants to predict a disaster. No one wants to even have to live through a disaster, right? But we just wanted to open up a conversation about being prepared. Okay. Being prepared. It's devastating, right? What's going on in LA with all the fires, the wildfires in multiple cities across thousands, tens of thousands of acres. It's just really, really crazy, right? To see, and who ever thought that we would live in a day in time where we would see some of these images, right? Um, it's crazy, bro. Right? And the major thing that pops in my head, right, when we're seeing these images is just being prepared, right? What would your family do if it was placed in this situation? How would you
Right,
react? How would you respond, right? When you have people that you're responsible for, right? That's what keeps popping up in my head, right? So how would we respond? So, bro, what do you think? Right? There's no structure to this episode. We just want to have a conversation about being prepared. So hopefully we can help save some lives, save some property or whatever, right? Just to have this conversation. What are your thoughts?
yeah, I think it's definitely something that comes to the foreground, in a time like this. And it's not just the fires, it's a lot of events, right? Like I think a couple weeks prior to there was, the incident on New Year's in New Orleans.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
It's tons of events like in different places that are occurring, even just over the last few years. And overall, you need to be prepared. Um, we experience times where things are great and everything is going well, and we're able to, thrive. But then, in the midst of that, don't get so comfortable to where you're not prepared to take a hit, to take a loss, um, or even be in a position to try to prevent a hit or prevent loss. And
right.
so definitely if you have, family, even from a business perspective, imagine even if like you don't live in this area, but let's say the supplier for your business lives in this area and their whole
Right.
situation burned to the ground. And now your business takes a hit, even if you don't live in that area. So just in general,
Right.
it's about, being prepared to pivot and being flexible, having other options, um, emergency planning. I think is just what you kind of need to look for. A lot of times we plan for success, but we also need to plan for emergency, disaster preparedness, emergency preparedness.
Yeah, and ever since like COVID, right, where stuff got shut down unexpected. It was just, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is bad, virus going around, this bad cold.
Right,
And then boom, all of a sudden everything is shutting down, like effective immediately, closed, right?
right,
And people were going crazy. It was toilet paper wars, right?
right. Yeah,
Just everything, right? Groceries, things that we consider normal got flipped on its head, right? And then you have these disasters that are happening in, these different cities and stuff all across the US. It's like the only thing that I can think of, bro, is just being prepared. And I know it kind of sounds cliche, right? But if you think about it, you kind of got to be prepared for any type of these situations, right? The terrorist attack and things like that, that's a little more difficult to kind of prepare for. Who would have thought, right? How long has Bourbon Street gone on, without any incidents, right? And the last thing that you would think about is somebody driving a truck down Bourbon Street at
Right.
excessively high speeds, intentionally trying to kill people, right? So, but yet and still, right? I know I try to teach my kids, like, be prepared, like, know your surroundings,
Right. Be
be
alert.
alert. Exactly. Be aware of your surroundings, like, kind of be in tune. If you start hearing something, look alive, like, look around, look for the
Pay
nearest
attention.
exit, right,
Yep.
et cetera, et cetera. So even in those instances, you can at least have some type of game plan, right? Thinking about like the Asheville floods, right? Up in the mountains where it just wiped out whole communities. Like, people were warned. People were warned to be prepared, and people were warned and told to evacuate, right? So it's like immediately you should have a plan and be ready to execute that plan. And that's the only thing that keeps just popping in my mind. Like, what if something like that happened where I'm at? Where would you go? What if that happened to someone that you love, like, your parents or your brothers, sisters, or, someone in your immediate family? Are you the place that they should come to? Where would you go, right? If you needed to escape or evacuate or something like that. Um, and everyone's situation is different, right? But it's almost like you just have to be prepared. Just be prepared, right? Think about those
Yeah.
different scenarios. People in the mountains, they're facing different issues than people at the coastline are facing, right?
Right.
In LA, they know that they have those wildfires, right? And what amazes me is that, like, some people were prepared. Some people had sprinklers set up right on their houses, and they were able to save their house, right? Um, and so I guess the biggest lesson or the biggest um key point that I'm trying to drive home is just being prepared, right? For the unexpected. And the same thing translates to like business. And I'm just looking at some of these images, it's like, yo, whole blocks are gone, right? Um, whole strip malls are gone.
Right.
So if you had a business in that strip mall, it's totally gone. Or if it
Yep.
if it wasn't demolished, the neighborhood is gone and all the houses are gone. So no one is there. So how are you able to continually have the cash flow? Right.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, and
so it's,
from
it's
that,
like you gotta diversify, right?
right, exactly. That's, getting ready to mention is, so from that perspective, if that is your business and that is your stream of income, where do you get income from now? Which is something that we talk about all the time, right? Creating and establishing multiple streams of income. So if you do take a hit here,
Right,
you know, it may be some loss of income, but you still have income from another source. And
right,
even if you look at like the stock market and how people play the stock market, that's why they tell you to diversify. Because if one sector
right,
is taking a hit, another sector may be thriving. And so that way your whole portfolio just isn't totally tanking, you know, um, you could still be making some gains.
right. Right. That's critical. That's critical. Like we were mentioning earlier, let's say you had a house and you paid it off, right? And that was, you got equity tied up in it. It's totally free and clear. You had a car, multiple cars, everything paid off. You living a life, retired, retire early and everything. You're just living the life, right? No bills or nothing. But boom, something like this comes through and destroys the property, right? And I heard that the insurance companies were canceling people's fire insurance, right? Which is
Yeah.
crazy. But I think they're trying to fix it where they can't cancel. They put a moratorium or something on the insurance cancellations. But let's say that went through And now the house that you paid off, the cars that you paid off are totally destroyed, and you don't have anything, right? And you're living on a fixed income, right? Like we got to kind of think about those types of things and be prepared, right? Have that cash flow, have multiple diverse streams of income. This is why we preach multiple streams of income so heavy. This is why we created the dream stream strategy, right? Which uh teaches you how to create, master, and maintain multiple streams of income. Let's say one goes down, let's say one is destroyed, let's say one takes a major blow. You have the other ones, right, to help supplement, or you have the knowledge to create a brand new one. Of course, check out the link in the description. We'll make sure we link it there. But all of this destruction and these like disasters, that's what's popping in my head, man. Be prepared, folks. We weren't prepared for COVID, right? We weren't prepared. Asheville wasn't prepared for the flooding and the hurricanes. Florida wasn't prepared for the hurricanes. Um, the Palisades weren't prepared for these wildfires, and it looks like they could have been prepared um, just through some simple planning. Um, People are losing like entire livelihoods and entire like blocks and homes unexpectedly. So the big lesson in all of this, and you know, you had the New Orleans incident, the it's countless other incidents, right? That happened. But the main thing that we want to, I guess, communicate with you guys is just be prepared, man. Be prepared.
Right.
Think about your scenario. Think about your needs. You have, if you have any type of special needs that you would need for you or your household, think about those scenarios, right? And come up with different plans for those different scenarios. It's better to have some type of plan than no plan at all, right?
Right. Yeah, I think another point that I would like to, iterate is that you have to stay grounded, right? Even if you do encounter a situation where you're taking a loss, which of course, obviously, we want to be prepared. We want to avoid as much loss as we can.
Right.
But if you find yourself in that situation, you know, it's important to attempt to stay grounded as much as possible, right? Like, your family, your friends, your faith, your personal health, like these
Mm,
are the things that matter the most. So, yeah, I may love, my boat or
Starbucks
my home.
lattes.
Right, exactly. And so it's like the lifestyle that and there's nothing wrong with these things. However,
Right.
you can't like let them totally 100% determine, like your well-being, And so if you do encounter these types of losses, obviously, yes, we want to be prepared um, as much as possible, and we want to avoid it as much as possible. But if it happens, staying grounded in your number one, your faith, your personal health and well-being, your family and friends. Those are the things that are of and true importance.
Right.
And all of this other stuff, if you are the person that you say you are, you will get that will come back to you. You know what I mean? Like if you are that person, you will get it back. It will be no problem for you. And so, yeah, to everybody that's taking a loss, whether it be in this situation or other situations, people are encountering losses all the time that are not making the news, you
Right.
know. So hopefully you find yourself fully restored of anything you've lost or taken a loss or whatever. But just, that's a key point also, I believe, is like staying grounded, man. Understanding that these things are temporary. They're not the most important thing.
Right.
Don't go jump off a bridge because, you lost some physical items.
Yeah, that's real. That's real talk, man. We get caught up in the the pleasures of life, right? Like I said, that being able to just go to the grocery store and pick up, some food, being able to, just click a button and AC comes on, being
Right.
able to do all of these, like the luxuries of life, right? When at the end of the day, it's just that, like luxuries, right? Um, and you get way too comfortable. We get way too comfortable. Like, who gardens, right, anymore?
Right. Exactly.
I'm sure some people do, but not near as many as that should be, right?
Right.
Everyone, if you have a yard, in my opinion, like you should have a garden in your yard, or at least a little small portable one that you can
Something.
just pop up somewhere, right? Um, who even knows like the principles of gardening and the tricks of the trade and tips and stuff like that? Who knows this stuff? Right? And it's out there, like, the knowledge is there, right? The ways to do it, the seeds are there. You can go to Lowe's, Home Depot right now and buy these things. But if disaster struck, right now, how would you be prepared to deal with that situation? If there was a shortage in food, right? There was a shortage in any of these luxuries of life, how would you respond? Right? And so that's our biggest message today on this episode, is to just think about your situation, think about all of the necessities that you need, right? And be prepared. Come up with plans, right? For different scenarios. What if there's a nuclear attack or something like this? The world is crazy right now. I hate to talk about it, but stuff is just I don't know. I don't know, but um what if there's an EMP, right? Or something that just knocks out electricity? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, how will we be prepared for that type of stuff? The
Something
power
that's
grid.
unheard of, right? Like
Right.
when you said that again, it brought me to like the Noah Bible story, right? Because
Yeah.
at that time, it's unheard of. If I'm getting the story correct, I believe it was unheard of for it to be like rain in that capacity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I
They
mean?
didn't.
And so it's like,
They said they mocked them, didn't they? They were like,
right,
like,
it's
what
like,
is he
what are
doing?
you doing? You know what I mean? And so, you know, for ourselves, you should be preparing for like build your ark, you know what I mean? And whatever that looks like, however you are, guided to prepare for your situation, for where you live, for your family, for the things that you guys need. Prepare for your business, for, whatever that looks like.
Simply put, be prepared. And that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing crazy, nothing too over the top. Just be prepared, man. Think about think about how you can be prepared. Come up with game plans, right? We'll leave some links in the description. Definitely to the Dream Stream strategy, right? Prepare your multiple sources of income.
There you go.
Um, and just be in position, man. Be in position. This is sad to see. Our prayers, thoughts and prayers go out to the folks who lost anything, right?
Right.
Lost their lives, lost family members, lost property and livelihoods and stuff like that. But just be prepared, man. That's it for this episode of the League of Hustlers. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's follow for more.